Of course, the other story that has really been getting the coverage, and as I predicted on Monday, our mainstream media can't help but give more prominence to the people who don't like the Treaty Principles Bill than those who do. And I can't remember really since probably homosexual law reform, a select committee that has been more covered or more controversial in my 40-year journalism career. But Select Committee Room number 3, where the Justice Select Committee has been sitting this week, has seen a fair bit of action and generated a fair bit of media coverage and copy, and we've seen greats like Marilyn Waring, the woman who brought down essentially the Muldoon government, there, Ganesh Nana, economist, Helmut Modlik, who's been on our program a few times, David Seymour, and a raft of others have come through to make submissions or make oral submissions on the Treaty Principles Bill. And trying to, if you like, hear the cats, has been young National MP, newly appointed Minister outside Cabinet, Minister for the South Island, James Meager, and he joins us on the line now to talk about the week. James, how have you found the experience in general?
Well, good morning, Sean. Can I just first start by wishing you a Happy New Year and hoping you have recovered from your trip to Pleasant Point?
Oh, there was nothing to recover, and I'm sorry I missed you. I was out in the restaurant while you were having a beer or a shandy in the bar. I loved it, James. I loved it.
It was fantastic.
Can I make a suggestion? Look, we always start the year with the Prime Minister, will he go to Waitangi or not? Why don't Pleasant Point invite the Prime Minister to Pleasant Point for the Christmas parade this year? I reckon that'd be cool.
As the Minister for the South Island, I think that's an excellent idea, and I think we should probably extend that invitation to the rest of the country as well. Everyone should come down to South Canterbury.
Well, I'm thinking of having the platform Christmas party there.
Well, you'd be more than welcome. You can stay at my place.
Yeah.
Hey, look, no, first week's gone actually pretty well. So I thought we did 8 3/4 hours of submissions on Monday with a 15-minute break in the middle. So I just wanted to acknowledge the work of the staff and the team there for powering all the way through and for putting up with some of our requests as MPs to change the temperature and all sorts of things. But I thought the first day went actually quite smoothly.
All right. Tons of media there. It's a bit of a star chamber, really, isn't it?
There were some really notable submissions. I mean, you mentioned a couple of them, but we had a couple of former treaty negotiation ministers, and of course we kicked off the day with the minister in charge of the bill. So I think that indicates that the committee is taking the process seriously, and we are trying to hear from a wide range of voices, and I think you got a relatively good mix on the first day. Now, not everyone's going to be totally happy with who could or who couldn't come on the first day, but we're trying our best to accommodate as many different views as we can.
As I understand it, the committee decides who it's going to hear from orally, right?
Yeah, that's right, and that's the same with every select committee, and normally there aren't really that many submissions, so we're considering a few other bills in justice, quite important ones that have big impacts like sentencing law reform, and we only have a handful of oral submitters for those ones, so generally we can invite everyone, but on this occasion we've had a lot of interest.
Okay, so you've had to pick or choose, and I note that Hobson's pledge, and Don Brash graciously said he thinks it was just an administrative stuff-up. Something went wrong. He didn't think they were deliberately excluded when we spoke to him yesterday. They swapped to speaking slot with someone else. But how do you decide who gets to get heard? And are you trying to be representative in who gets heard? Or is it pretty random?
Yeah, and I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Brash's comments on that and again reiterate our apologies for, I guess, in the first instance, I'll just clarify the Hobson's pledge situation. So we, as a committee, decided that parties would nominate an initial list for the first week, and then from that list we would invite submitters. So Hobson's pledge were part of that invitation along with around about 80 or 90 other individuals and groups. And we set a deadline to respond, and some people responded quickly, some people responded, took a few more days to respond. And by the time Hobson's pledge came back, we'd filled the slot. So we were always intending to invite them along, and I'm very glad that they managed to fit in by swapping with, I think Democracy Action was the name of the organisation, and we'll be, of course, inviting those groups to attend in the next series of hearings. So essentially parties get to put put a list forward, and we'll merge that list together, take out the duplicates, and then invite those organisations. And we'll be doing that process. Well, we haven't finalised decisions on how we will do the process for the next set of hearings, but my guess is it's going to be very similar, just on a larger scale.
All right. James, the problem too with all this media attention on a select committee is that some submitters may take the opportunity to use it as a kind of bully pulpit, as a political forum to spread their message without concentrating on the process, the very important parliamentary process that a select committee represents.
You're right, and the point of the select committee submission process is supposed to be focused on the bill and to help the MPs as legislators improve or consider the impacts of the bill itself. It's not really a platform for people to express their views on, whether or not colonialism was good or bad, or whether or not the government is good or bad. It's really supposed to be a place to help legislators shape the bill. So when it goes back into the House and Parliament, it can inform decisions made. And so, but understandably, what you're going to get in this process is a lot of people using it as an opportunity to run a campaign or to express their views. And look, I'm running a so you could use that word. I could possibly comment as a neutral, impartial chair, but my role in this is to uphold the values of free speech we have in Parliament, to have a pretty wide ambit about what people can draw their attention to. I'm really keen on people making their contributions as relevant to the proceedings as possible. So if they can confine them to the bill and their thoughts on the bill, that's good. But at the same time, people are entitled to express their views, and I'm pretty open to allowing a fairly wide range of that within reason.
So there's a bit of wiggle room.
Keep the committee in order.
There's a bit of wiggle room to blow your own trumpet, is what you're saying. Hey, did Takatu Ferris call? Did he call David Seymour a racist?
No, I didn't hear that, no.
Have you seen reports that he did?
No, I haven't. Would be interested in those, but no, I didn't hear that, no.
Okay. Have the members of the committee behaved appropriately so far? Because it's your job to keep them in check too.
Yeah, I think on the whole, the questions were relatively respectful. Sometimes people express their views forcefully in those questions. My role is to make sure the questions are relevant and in order and concise so that we can give submitters enough time to respond. So I think on the whole there were some probably wayward questions here and there towards the end of the day as fatigue started to set in, but I think everyone's been behaving pretty respectfully and have set a relatively good tone for the rest of the hearings, which is about 72 hours over the next couple of weeks.
Good Lord, you lucky old thing. Did anyone drop a haka or do a waiata or a pōwhiri?
Yeah, there were a few of those expressions during the submissions, and so what I've said is that as a submitter, you've got 10 minutes in this first week to use as you see fit, as long as it's within standing orders. And if you want to use that time to make those kind of displays, that's up to you. That's part of your submission, and the members can take from that what they like. Some people will think it adds a lot to the submission. Some people might be more focused on the content of the debate. So it's up to them, and as long as they do it within their allotted time and don't take time from other people, I'm perfectly happy with that. It's kind of up to the committee members and the public to judge the quality of the submission from there.
Yeah.